Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, on Facebook, on Twitter, and shout out to all of my Instagram people out there as well, as I am going live simultaneously on Instagram as well today. Thank you to all of you who check this out, who've always supported the podcast on a regular basis. If you don't know, you can always follow the podcast at Spotify, Talk Spicy, or anywhere that you get your podcast. It's been an interesting few days in the world of sports, especially in the world of basketball, where we've seen a lot of the clashing of figures in basketball. And it's interesting, as a guy who, has grown up in sports, grown up playing sports, grown up, and as a grown up coach and been in the media, when you're in the media and you have entities that rely on you to give your opinion, you obviously have to be honest. But the problem now, and I talk about the idea of, what the journalist used to be and what the journalist is now. I talk about that all the time. But one of the issues that I find is that because the more salacious things that you say tends to get you more eyeballs, because that's a thing, you get more people who are out here saying salacious stuff because they know that's how they get movement. So I want to talk about three things today. And the first one is the Kendrick Perkins and Draymond Green situation. Draymond Green, who on his platform, his podcast, which is doing great, he talks a lot about the new media, but in there, when you talk about the new media, you have to realize that as you become a part of the media, there are going to be people who take what you say the same way that you took what they said. Now, the funny part about it is I thought Draymond Green was making a really good point when speaking about Kendrick Perkins. He was giving Kendrick Perkins his flowers and saying, hey, listen, you did this for real. You understand the game. You know how it goes. You don't have to be like Skip Bayless. You don't have to, but it seems as if Draymond believes that Kendrick Perkins is going about things the way in which Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith are going about things, where they really, take more of a personal attack or a caricature type of feel. And he was saying, you don't have to do this. Now, where Draymond really messed up, in my opinion, is he said, you went from an enforcer to a coon. I don't know about any of you, but in my community and people that I'm around, if you call me a coon, we're fighting. Not, hey, you can come find me. Like, that's cool, Kendrick Perkins. But if it's me and I have the means to get to you and you call me a coon, I'm on a flight. I'm coming to see you, because there is no more disrespectful thing to say to a black man, in my opinion, outside of calling him the N-word. That's on both sides. If you are a black man and you call another black man a coon, to me, it is as bad as when a white man calls a black man the N-word. So those are fighting terms. Now, here's the thing. And I tell this to anybody that's getting into journalists, any young journalists that reach out, anybody that gets into the analyst job. When you say things, you have to be ready for the ramifications of your actions. So if you say something, cool, we understand that you're saying it. Are you ready for the backlash that comes with what you say? And if you're not ready for the backlash from what you say, then you have to make sure that you don't say something, that's going to get you hemmed up. At the end of the day, you have the opportunity to make your impact whatever you want it to be in the journalist world. You can be the journalist who's the hot take person. You can be the journalist who breaks news. You can be the journalist who writes, great feature stories. You can be the analyst who just breaks the game down and looks at the X's and O's of the game. But if you start saying things, you have to be ready for the ramifications. So when Draymond Green said what he said, and he called, he called Kendrick Perkins a coon. My only question is, are you ready for Kendrick Perkins to want to fight you? Because if he is, okay, cool. Be down for that. Because I would 100% go and find Draymond Green and punch him in the face. I'm letting you know I don't get down like that. You call me the N-word, I'm looking to find you and punch you in the face. Right? If you call me a coon, I'm looking to find you and punch you in the face. Now, some people might be saying, "Oh, you got to be more mature than that. Why? Why? We live in a world where you say things, the backlash that comes with what you say. So if you say them, there's two things. You either feel like I am somebody that doesn't put any fear of repercussions into your life, or you are trying to do it because you want me to react the way that I react. And I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you what you want, or I'm going to test your theory. Now, with Kendrick Perkins' response, in that he doesn't believe that Draymond is really about that action, well, Kendrick Perkins, this is a really easy way to figure this out. Go find him. Go find him. Ask him if he's about that action. Do it in person. Because all of this going back and forth, like Draymond on his podcast, but then Kendrick Perkins going live, like that's who cares about you arguing across the internet? I don't. This will be the first and last time I talk about that particular situation. I haven't said anything else about them. They've been going at each other for a long time. I haven't said anything else about it. You know why? Because the word that Draymond Green used was so powerful, in my opinion, that he owes this man an apology unless he really and truly feels that way. And if he really and truly feels that way, then he owes Draymond Green a fade. He's got to run him as one. Like, at the end of the day, if you really feel like somebody is a coon and they say, "Hey, man, I need my one," there's nothing else to say. That's how deep it is. And we have to stop doing this thing where we marginalize our feelings because we're supposed to be mature, right? Because we're supposed to be professionals. Well, the professional thing for you to do would be not to call somebody a coon on your platform. But once we pass that professional thing, everything else that's not professional is up for grabs. Speaking of not professional, why is it that it feels like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless are the same person these days? You know what I'm tired of hearing about Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless? I'm tired of hearing about how good of people they are when they're not on television. I'm so tired of hearing about people say, "Yo, man, I really mess with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. is a real one. Y'all just don't know." Why do I have to figure out if Stephen A. Smith's a real one when he has a platform that he is on a daily basis? Shouldn't I know that Stephen A. Smith's a good guy based off of the actions that he shows on a daily basis? Or should I just assume that he's playing a role? Should I just assume that he is a caricature on a daily basis? Or should I just assume that he's a caricature and that he is not a real person on television? Because if he's not a real person on television, then why should I care about anything he's talking about? If that's not how he really feels, if he's not giving me his real legitimate feelings, his real legitimate thoughts, if it's all just for show, then why should I ever care? Why would I ever listen to that? Part of the appeal of listening to, these takes that these talking heads are giving is that they're real. They come from a real place. So if it's not real, then why should I care? I'm so frustrated when I hear people talk about how great of a dude Skip Bayless is. I hear Stephen A. Smith talk about how great a dude Skip Bayless is. And in my mind, I'm going, but if he's such a good dude, then why does he continually do this? Right? If he's such a good dude, then why is he always doing this thing? Why is it always this thing? Why is he always engaged in this? And what's this I'm talking about? Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless find someone to pick on. And once they find someone to pick on, they latch onto it like a bulldog and they shake it until it's dead. And the harder they fight against it, the more they shake. For Stephen A. Smith, right now it's Kyrie Irving. Every single day, it seems like he has something else negative to say about Kyrie Irving. I'm like, but why? ¿Por qué? Explain. If you don't like what he's doing, stop talking about him. It's your platform. If you think what he's doing is disingenuous, if you think what he's doing is terrible, if you think what he's doing is foolhardy, stop engaging. Why do we continue to engage or talk about people that we don't like, that we don't understand? We don't have to just sit around and make fun of them all day. We don't have to just sit around and try to think about ways in order to be nasty towards them or to bring them down. For Skip Bayless is Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook is at the point now where he's ready to punch Skip Bayless in the face. And guess what Skip Bayless wants? Skip Bayless wants Russell Westbrook to find him and punch him in the face. You know why? Because that will get more ratings for Skip Bayless. That will make Skip Bayless more relevant. That will make him believe that he has so much power that he brought a man to want to physically harm him just with his words. Skip Bayless will find pride in that. And everybody will just look at Russell Westbrook and go, man, you just beat up an old man. He'll go to jail for assault. He'll get sued by Skip Bayless for millions of dollars. And everybody will then it's a no-win situation for these athletes. But I don't understand how we as a viewing public don't admonish these gentlemen for their actions. Because there's no reason why you can't be critical of Russell Westbrook without calling him names. There's no reason why you can't be critical of Kyrie Irving without insulting his intelligence or his emotional well-being. There's no reason why you can't do your job as an analyst or as a journalist without doing some of the other things that we look at as being kind of rude and disrespectful. Everybody can be a good person and do their job. Everybody can be critical and do their job, because if you're not, you have to be ready for the smoke. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're joining me on Facebook, as always, I appreciate you. We are over 2,000 likes on the Coach Gene Clemens page. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you like the Coach Gene Clemens page. If you're joining me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Gene Clemens. If you're joining me on Instagram, shout out to Instagram. Make sure that you come join me. Follow me on Instagram at Gene Clemens. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good one. Peace.